Hello again, welcome back to what is the final episode of this Crusader King's pseudo-tutorial. We finally have enough piety to create the kingdom, so we shall create the Duchy of Leinster for ourselves and just hold on to it, and then we shall make the kingdom. And we are now King of Ireland, and life is good. So we are going to attempt to offer vassalization to any of the rulers of the island who would be willing to join us peacefully. As you can see, we've gotten a couple takers, but there are several who still resist our magnanimous rule. And the first of our targets is going to be the County of Kildare. If you perhaps recall, you know that we have a claim on it. But in the first place, we should look at some of these territories we've acquired. We acquired a lot of territory in the de jure Duchy of Ulster, so I briefly consider forming that and giving it to one of my vassals, but I eventually changed my mind because the one county in it that we don't hold is the capital county, and if we were to give someone who doesn't own that county the title, they would revoke it from whoever currently held it and take it for themselves, and they would become more powerful. And that, as you are no doubt aware by now, is something you'd like to avoid. So we shall declare our war on Kildare, and we shall take it for ourselves. Usual process of raising the levies and bringing all of our troops together. You know the drill by now. And if I recall correctly, Kildare has an ally, but I can't see them being too much of a problem, given that we outnumber Kildare themselves pretty greatly, without even factoring in their allies, and their ally isn't that strong, I think. And unfortunately we have no one we can call into the war, but I think we'll manage. I'm not too concerned. Battle, and unfortunately I left myself in command of the center, but oh well, my mistake. And we see their allies are showing up to help, and then they immediately change their mind and decide, nope, we're not going to get involved. They just got crushed. Kildare's entire army has been devastated in a single battle, and now we just need to do the siege, and I shall return when the siege ends. And the siege has now ended, and then with it the war. So the County of Kildare is now ours. And we have further extended our reach over the island. And once again, I go around and ask the various rulers for vassalization. And Connacht still stubbornly refuses to join me. However, we do manage to force Briefne into our realm diplomatically, rather than through invasion. Speaking of invasions, I now decide that Connacht has had it far too good for far too long, so we are going to go to war with them and take their province, take their county. Terminology. Terminology is important. So, yet another relatively quick war about to begin. And then hopefully we should be able to force the last county in Ireland to join us diplomatically, rather than having to invade them too. And now I'm doing the standard raise all of the levies and gather them together that you've seen me do a lot of times, but I am also being careful to note where there are river crossings between Connacht and other provinces, because Connacht has a terrain type that gives a defense bonus to the defenders, obviously, and attacking across a river into an area where the defenders have a bonus and incurring a penalty is a very bad idea. So we're sending them in, and the King of France wants to marry my half-sister, and I say sure, why not, and gain the French as an ally, and call them into the war, even though I doubt we'll need them. And we have managed to capture someone in the battle with Connacht. So we shall chase them down, as per usual, and then we shall return and begin the siege, and I'll come back when the siege is over. The siege has now ended, so the war with it also ends, because we have a 100% war score. And the county of Connacht shall be ours. They are surrendering now. I do attempt to ransom that prisoner we captured, however, since the war ends, we can't get any money for him because he's freed automatically. But we have gained the province, and we decide to give it out to one of our courtiers. And eventually we will create the duchy and give it to one of them. Trying to find someone to give the province to. Really scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of skill at governance, but I'd prefer not to invite any courtiers, because it's kind of expensive to invite people to our court. Education, so just let it pick the default one. We basically almost achieved what we came out here to do, so I will poke around pointlessly in screens for a little bit and come back to you when I decide to do something that presses our goal forward. So we're demanding the final independent count in Ireland join us, and they do so. So Ireland is now unified. And I hope you have found this at least somewhat interesting, and hopefully a little bit helpful. And one thing that I really should have done but didn't was change our succession law, because having played slightly farther down the line but not recorded it, that causes problems later. When this character dies, we are forced to divide our lands up a little bit. Everything stays in one realm, but everything breaks up a bit. So, I hope this was helpful, and have a good day.